I will prove to you why your doubts and your fears are all fake. They're all something that we have created in our mind relative to our experiences and our observations. Our doubts and fears really come into play when it comes to our own self belief and our own capabilities. And this is what I will be breaking down. And I will prove to you, and you will prove to yourself after watching this video, that your doubts and your fears are all fake. All of our doubts and fears of ourselves, every limiting belief on why we can't do something, why we're not capable, why we're not qualified, why we just can't do it, they're all learned. Somewhere in your life, probably when you were a child and you didn't have the mental fortitude to defend against these bad thoughts, when you were taught them, you just completely absorb them like a sponge. Because that's what little kids' brains do. They just absorb all the information around them. There's not really a filtration process that your brain has. So at a young age, these are all learned. Either you straight up been told that this is just how life works, that money doesn't grow on trees, that the only way is to work a 9 to 5 job, or straight up told that you can't do something. Maybe a teacher told you this. Or maybe you observed something within your parents that kind of subconsciously told you this is the way of life. The results that they had is what you kind of subconsciously identified with. And when you grow up, a lot of these limiting beliefs dictate your life. So even through adulthood, you're subconsciously operating off of these beliefs, and through that just strengthens that belief even more. But pinpoint what you were told or what you observed that made you think this way about yourself, and understand that this came from an external source. This did not come from your inner higher self. It's very dangerous when we allow outside opinions into our mind, because on the outside, most of the things around us are not productive in fulfilling our purpose. There's a lot of people who doubt themselves, so they'll project it on you. There's a lot of people who have insecurities, so they'll project those insecurities on you. So that's why even in the Bible it says you must protect your mind with your life. Because this is the most important thing. Your mind and your thoughts are the roots to every result you have in life. And the tree, the thing you see above ground, is the result of what these roots are made of, right? So understand that you believe these things, but they came from an external source. So pinpoint them and understand that they are not your own thoughts. You just adopt them. And you can, once you pinpoint them, you kind of expose them, you shine a light on them, and they become weaker. Your doubts and fears, you cannot touch them. You cannot touch your limiting beliefs. They are physically not real. It is all in your mind. It is paralyzing you. Your brain is paralyzing you because there is not a physical force that when you go out and try to work to achieve it, there's not a physical force that's holding you back. It is you. It is your brain holding you back. But the good thing is that you can control these thoughts and you can expose them and realize that it is literally all in your head. Your fears, your fears that you believe in. There is someone out there that has broke that way of thinking. Let's say you think, oh, because I'm poor, I can't do this. Well, there's a successful person out there that was born poor that has became successful. So there is literal proof that you can do what you want to do. The only difference is that they believed in themselves. They had that true self belief, and right now you're letting your limiting beliefs that will get you nothing in life control your actions, you know? What I always think about is that if I see someone out there that has done what I want to do, I can 100% do it. It is not impossible. It is just my mind and my actions that need to be aligned to achieve that. So, whatever you want to be, if someone out there is already that, if someone out there is living your dream life, then why can't you live yours? It is all an illusion that you think you are separated from that life. It is your self limiting beliefs that are holding you back from this dream life, right? We all suffer in our minds more than we do in reality, and that's just a fact. If you're an overthinker, you suffer more than necessary. And I'm a victim of this. I used to do this where I used to overthink so many things. I would overthink conversations, and then once I get in the conversation, I realize it's not that bad. Or if it was that bad, if my worries did come into fruition, I realize it's because my energy gave that off and kind of manifested that awkward conversation because I was so in my head that now my ability to communicate diminished, which caused that awkward conversation. Because of my own thoughts, my own negative thoughts, I got a negative result. That is how it works. Negative thoughts about yourself usually result in negative results. So understand that in reality, we all endure pain, we all go through stuff, but some suffer more than others. And that means that some people feel that pain in real life and then suffer in all of these unnecessary thoughts because you do not need to dwell on all this anxiety. I know it's easier said than done, but kind of knowing this fact that like what's going to happen is going to happen, right? If you are going to have a bad experience, that bad experience is going to happen. Your overthinking will not do anything to combat that. Your overthinking has probably never resulted in better results in your life. And I know it's hard because I used to do that too, but do not suffer more than you have to. And also, confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is when your brain chooses a narrative, when it has a belief, it will do anything it can to grasp for any evidence that supports that narrative. And this is 100% true and proven, even on a minuscule level to the major levels of how you believe in yourself. Your brain and whatever it believes in, it will anything that correlates to that narrative in your head, your brain will seek it in everything. Let's take for example someone who is insecure, who thinks they're ugly, who doesn't like their body. They could be walking in a store, right? And someone looks at them, and your brain, this insecure person brain, it will tell them that this person is judging them, that they notice how ugly they are, or how weird their shirt fits. That is what this insecure person's brain's thoughts are telling them because their confirmation bias is set towards they're insecure and they're maybe ugly or whatever. And the confident person, they're gonna be walking when someone looks at them, they're probably gonna think to themselves like, yo, like they like my outfit. They like me, they think I'm good looking. Because of the narrative that is placed. And it could be the same exact situation, and you will get drastic different thought patterns because of the narrative that is set on one's mind. So now we can choose, because at the end of the day, it is a choice to believe in the things we want to believe in. And once you do that for a persistent amount of time, your brain will start looking for all of these positive things about you or whatever you believe in, right? And the last thing that helped me was write down all your fears on a piece of paper in the notes app. Write down all of your fears. Anytime you catch yourself being fearful or doubtful on your capabilities or an excuse, write them all down. And you'll realize when you're reading them on paper, you 100% will realize that these doubts and fears aren't as big as you make them out to be. You read them on paper and you're kind of like, some of them honestly sound illogical. They really do. Write down, every time you hear a limiting belief, write it down and just read it from a different perspective. Like if you're a different person, don't read it from your own thought process. Just try to act and read it as if you're reading a stranger's fears. And you will realize that all of these fears are illogical. And none of them are physically true. It is all in your mind. That's the main point of this video, is that all of your fears are in your mind. And if they are in your mind, then you have the capability to rewire that fear and turn it into belief. So write down all your fears. This is probably the best practical advice I could give you on how to overcome your fears and doubts. Because at the end of the day, your doubts and fears are dumb. My doubts and fears are dumb. Relative to self-belief. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any value, if you gained any value or insight from this video, like, comment most importantly, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.